I'm Beth from the West Allis Public Library. Welcome to another episode of our Let's Go on Vacation book club, where every week we're traveling to a new place. This week we are visiting the Grand Canyon with the book, Where is the Grand Canyon? Good name. So today we are on Chapter 5, A Layer Cake of Rock. The Grand Canyon is located in a 130,000 square mile region called the Colorado Plateau. The plateau covers northern Arizona, southern Utah, the southwest corner of Colorado, and part of northwest New Mexico. It also contains 10 national parks, including the Grand Canyon. Here's a picture where it is. Most of the plateau consists of thousands of layers of sedimentary rock formed when ancient oceans covered the area. When the oceans disappeared, the plateau remained. So how was the Grand Canyon made? The simple answer is erosion from the river. For millions of years, the Colorado River cut its way through many layers of different rock. Little by little, the river sliced into the land. A slice that is nearly 300 miles long and over a mile deep. Erosion from the Colorado River, however, is not the only reason the canyon exists. The desert terrain of the Southwest does not encourage plant growth. Without plants and their root systems in the systems to hold the soil, more erosion occurs. Although the Southwest has an arid or dry climate, it does rain and snow at the canyon sometimes, and when it does, the storms are violent. Rainfall is hard, and this speeds erosion too. The yearly winter rains run down the canyon walls and wash sand, pebbles, rocks, and boulders into the gorge. Winter rains also collect in cracks in the canyon walls and freeze. Water expands when it freezes, making the cracks wider. Finally, the rock breaks off from the canyon wall and crashes to the bottom. Rainwater erosion also washes away softer layers of rock that have supported harder rock. The harder rock loosens and eventually falls down into the canyon. Wind has also played a part in shaping the canyon. Many of the mesas and buttes that are so amazing to see were formed by millions of years of wind brushing tiny bits of rock away one at a time. So I'm just going to stop and read a little side part here about mesas and buttes. A mesa is a flat-topped hill or mountain with very steep sides. It is always wider than it is tall. The word mesa means table in Spanish. So if you can see this top picture, that's a mesa. Buttes are smaller than mesas. They're taller than they are wide. Both mesas and buttes are found throughout the southwestern United States. So the butte, that's a butte. It's a butte. Because of all the erosion, visitors to the Grand Canyon today can see at least 11 different layers of rock. These layers lie one right on top of another, like a layer cake. The oldest rocks are the bottom layer, and the youngest, the top. Those form when you see the Grand Canyon, kind of in this picture here, it's harder to tell, but the stripes, those are different layers of rock. The oldest rock is called the Vishnu Schist. It is 1.7 billion years old and mostly black in color. The next oldest layer consists of pink sedimentary and igneous rock. It is between 800 million and 1.2 billion years old. On top of the pink rock is a layer called Tapeats sandstone. It is packed with fossilized sponges and other sea creatures. These are proof that an ocean covered the area 545 million years ago. On top of that layer is shale. It's blue-gray in color and is 515 million years old. The shale is topped by limestone containing tiny bits of shell. Again, this is evidence of another prehistoric ocean. The next layer is Temple Butte Formation, which is a purplish limestone, also has many marine fossils. At this point, the canyon walls become much steeper. The next layer, which consists of more limestone, is 800 feet high and was formed 340 million years ago. Although it is mainly silver gray, iron oxide in the rocks has stained parts a deep red. Topping this thick layer is a mix of sandstone, shale, and siltstone. In it are fossils of insects and ferns. Just above that is more shale, and then sandstone from dunes of a desert that covered the plateau 275 million years ago. It, in turn, is covered by the darker yellow-gray Toroweap Formation made of gypsum and shale and some sandstone. The very top layer of the plateau is cream-colored limestone. In his journal, John Wesley Powell often wrote about the amazing rock formations and layers of rock that he and his group passed by. Most of his observations were precise and written in scientific language, but occasionally his writing becomes poetic. When he came upon beds of lava, he wrote, "What a conflict of water and fire there must have been here. Just imagine a river of molten rock running down into a river of melted snow. What a seething and boiling of the waters. What clouds of steam rolled into the heavens." Chapter 6, Wildlife in the Canyon. First-time visitors are usually blown away by the sight of the canyon itself. All the rock. They are unaware of the incredible number of animals and plants that make the Grand Canyon their home. Riding the canyon's swirling air currents are bald eagles, ravens, red-tailed hawks, turkey vultures, and other birds of prey, which are also called raptors. Every year in September and October, National Park Service rangers lead groups of bird watchers to identify and count various types of raptors flying over the canyon. In addition to the raptors, there are 350 species of birds that fly over or live inside the canyon. At the bottom of the canyon, there are 17 kinds of freshwater fish that live in the Colorado River or its feeder streams. There are 47 reptile species, including geckos, lizards, Gila monsters, iguanas, and 3 kinds of rattlesnakes. There are all kinds of mammals, from small creatures such as chipmunks, squirrels, mice, weasels, porcupines, raccoons, and bats, to big bears, elk, deer, sheep, mountain lions, and mule deer. Depending on the time of year, visitors might glimpse elk near the Grand Canyon Village. They are called Roosevelt elk and were brought to Grand Canyon Park after a native species of elk was killed off by hunters in the 1900s. For thousands of years, people have hunted bighorn sheep, mountain lions, black bears, and mule deer in and around the Grand Canyon. The mountain lions also hunt the elk and deer. In fact, naturalists say that the average mountain lion kills 1 deer or elk per week at the canyon. This keeps the elk and deer population under control so they will have enough food to eat. At night, thousands of bats emerge from caves in the canyon walls and consume tons of flying insects. The most dangerous animal in the Grand Canyon, okay, listen to this part, it's interesting. The most dangerous animal in the Grand Canyon, at least to tourists, so that's people, is a small, furry, cute creature called the rock squirrel. Rock squirrels gather in busy areas because they use humans as vending machines. So the people are feeding the squirrels. Tourists try to lure the squirrels for pictures by holding out nuts, sandwiches, fruit, and other treats. Often, tourists end up getting bitten. Besides being painful, squirrel bites can transmit disease and cause bad infections. Although people don't usually use the color green to describe the Grand Canyon, it is home to 1,750 plant species. That is more than any other national park in the United States. Cliff rose Apache plume, grizzly bear prickly pear, Mariposa lily, and desert columbine bloom throughout the canyon and give it color. One reason for the variety of plants and trees is the many different climates within the canyon. The canyon is so deep that the climate changes depending on where visitors are. Each different climate supports different kinds of plants and animals. This is what is known as biotic community, a group of plants and animals that live together in a certain area. There are 6 different biotic communities within the canyon. They too are stacked one on top of another like layers in a gigantic cake. At the floor of the inner canyon, the climate is desert-like. In the summer, the temperature may reach over 105 degrees. The floor gets only 8 inches of rain a year, so desert plants like cacti and yucca thrive there. Agave plants bloom once every 15 to 25 years. They are found deep in the canyon. The plant's flowers, leaves, stalks, and sap can all be eaten. It is sometimes called the century plant because it takes so long to bloom. The banana yucca blooms every 2 or 3 years and produces a fruit that tastes a bit like bananas. The creatures that live on the canyon floor, such as kangaroo rats, desert iguanas, and cactus mice, have also adapted to the harsh environment. They can survive in extremely hot, dry weather. A very different biotic community is found in the canyon's north rim. It is covered with pine trees and is home to mountain lions, elk, and bighorn sheep. The north rim gets an average of 30 inches of rain and snow every year. That's a lot. In fact, there's so much snow on the north rim of the Grand Canyon that it is closed to tourists from October to May. All that precipitation, however, is necessary for ponderosa pines, Douglas firs, and spruce. The roots take hold in cracks in the sandstone so that the trees can grow. Many north rim animals could not survive in the hot desert conditions of the canyon floor. Likewise, the plants and animals that thrive deep down in the canyon would not survive the rainy, cold north rim winters. Although the difference in climate is like traveling from Mexico to Canada, amazingly, these biotic communities are only a mile apart. All right, that is where we will stop today. Thank you for watching our Let's Go on Vacation book club, and watch for our next post tomorrow at 7 o'clock. Bye.